Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Messi and Co. Live Edition. I'm Ashley here, as always, with my incredible co-host Gian, and there is a lot to talk about, no doubt, no doubt. But first, I want to start with it's really great to be back. Obviously, Gian held down the fort last week with our incredible friend and colleague Javi Guerrero, and I was watching some of that episode. I thought it was great. I was in the process of moving, so that's why if you can see my background is different than normal. But I'm working on fixing my background so that my hair and everything isn't blurred. So everyone just stick with me. But before we get into Inter Miami game, before we get into all the extracurriculars and the fans and the this and the that, I'm gonna start with my question I always ask, which is how are we doing today, Gian? Happy Monday.
Happy Monday, Ash. I'm doing good. I am doing very well. A lot of stuff to talk about, like you said, but
Oh, we already have a
looking
lot of
good.
people watching. This is gonna be a big episode. Okay.
Yeah, no, everything is good. It's good. I've actually I've been on. You've probably been getting a lot of notifications on the Messi and Co. X. I've been responding to a lot of the talk going on around the SG stuff, and I'm pretty plugged into it, and I'm excited to talk about it later on in the episode. A lot of misconstrued things, a lot of stuff people don't really know
Mm.
about. So I'm excited to talk about that. But excited for Inter Miami. What a great win. Excited to talk about that. Messi continues to ball out. This team's looking good. They're on the up and up. And I think that this show, these fans are always happy when we're finally hitting, a good spot in the season and things looking good ahead of the World Cup. So a lot to talk about. But yeah, I'm doing great. How about you? How are you feeling in your new apartment?
I'm feeling super good. I'm
Yeah.
really excited for it. I like where I live. It's near where I used to live. I'm not gonna obviously. I'm not gonna share my address with everyone. I hope you understand. But I'm near or closer to uh like South Miami, Central Miami, where near closer to the stadium. So I'm excited to be going to the stadium. I'm excited to be here in my new apartment.
How are you gonna
Um,
get to the stadium? Is it somewhere where you'd be able to get like the metro rail or something? Or are you gonna be driving there, walking? Is it
did we
that
talk
close?
about this? Did we talk? Oh no, we
I thought
haven't because
we briefly
briefly.
mentioned it, but in passing, but you didn't really talk about it.
Okay.
Like, what would your stadium day like? It's game day. What would it look like for you?
Well, it's changed now. All right. I'm gonna preface by saying, first of all, in Miami, the city of Miami has done a really good job of trying to use public transportation in a city that is obviously not designed for it, right? Like compared to other cities like New York, etc. Um, however, when I was living much more north when I went to the game a few weeks ago, and I was like, let me park in the central garage and then take the rail, the tri-rail, the train that they set up. And it was a phenomenal experience. The train was full of Inter Miami fans, like all full as if it was a New York subway, full of fans, all wearing pink. The energy was great. Everything was great. The only issue was I was by myself. I met my friend there who lives in a different direction. And so when I left after, I got lost getting off the station and I couldn't find my car. So that stressed me out. I found in the end, no doubt it was really good. However, moving forward, as long as I'm lucky enough to be able to either have the press pass or if I'm going with friends, I will park. Because I live closer now, so I can probably deal with it. But yeah. So anyway, this episode is too important. We have already over 80 people watching. This episode is going to be a lot to talk about, so we'll save my subway stories for next for next time. But I'm excited to be here. Excited to be back. You guys killed it last week on the episode. But let's get into it because we have a lot to talk about. And we're going to start on a positive note, okay? Because that's what we're an Inter Miami podcast. We're fans of Messi. We're fans of this team. We're from the city. We're Miami residents. We love it here. And so it must start on a positive note, which is that after nightmare match in Orlando, after some ups and downs and 4 winless appearances at the new stadium, Inter Miami finally won last night at new stadium. Um, 3rd straight win. obviously Messi has been in unbelievable form. We're seeing the best, not the best of him ever, of course, but getting ready for a World Cup. They said it on the broadcast. Both him and Rodrigo De Paul have been doing 2-a-day workouts, preparing themselves for the World Cup. That's a few weeks away. And no doubt about it, Messi is playing like the greatest player of all time. And so on that note, my initial thoughts from the game was it was great. The win was great, playing against our old coach in Phil Neville. I thought the team and the structure, the second half, everything was really strong. And we got the first win and hopefully first of many. So I want to start on that positive note. Really good. I have to go grab my door really quickly. So Gian, you say what your thoughts of the game are.
Yeah, I thought it was a great game. I mean, Inter Miami, 3 games in a row now, winning, getting their first victory at new stadium. I thought it was an incredible win and incredible um, performance, really. And you see a lot of these players really putting in the work, putting in the effort, and finally starting to look more and more cohesive. We saw that this team under Macherano wasn't necessarily always having the best games. They maybe didn't always. I mean, sometimes they look top level, then the next game they didn't. I think that we're seeing a bit of consistency now under Hoyos for whatever reason that may be. He's trying out new things, trying players out in different positions. But I thought this game was good. Inter Miami just continues to dominate on possession like they do every game. They continue to. I think we're starting to see improvements on different lines. So the defense starting to look better. The midfield as well. The attack was never really something that we were overly
Problem, yeah.
concerned about. But this team is now scored. If I look back at the recent games, they've now scored 5, 4, 9, 11 goals in their last 3 games. I mean, that's just incredible.
And the
And
defense has really picked up.
this is, and we'll talk about that later on, but this is the first shutout at home the entire season, whether at Chase Stadium or at New Stadium. So to see that, I think, is an even bigger sign that this team is doing better. And you got to like what you're starting to see with Hoyos making some changes that were very much needed. Guys that are, it's not easy changes to make. I'll give you an example. Like you talk about Maxi Falcon. Maxi Falcon,
Yeah.
to me,
I
is
was gonna bring
still
him
the
up too.
best. He's still the best defender alongside Mikael, in my opinion. He's still the best. His performance, however, had dropped as of recent. He's not in his best form, and that's when you want a coach to make the tough decisions. And bringing in a guy like Lujan, who has looked better and is in better form, to sit aside Mikael, and I think that that's looked really well. Making the change for the over $1 million guy that you brought in Facundo Mura from Racing, and putting in your homegrown Ian Frey is a bit of a tough decision.
Yeah.
He's done that. That right side has looked better. Reguilon, slowly him working his way back from injury, and as great of a job as Noah Allen has done on that left side,
Reguilon
Reguilon
looks
does give you a
fantastic,
little
yeah.
bit better. Yeah. So I think that there's incrementally been the team has been progressing throughout the lines. De Paul also continuing to have good games, getting better. Yannick Bright. I mean, the switch from the double defensive midfielder now to just Yannick Bright in the back, I think, has been big for this team as well, and has helped them unlock a few things. Suárez, we'll talk about him in a moment, but Suárez making a huge difference on this team. Unfortunately, Tadeo Allende now looks like he may be out for maybe the rest of the season, having gone through a knee surgery in Spain, in Barcelona, actually. So it looks like Suárez may just continue to be here unless some of his minutes go to Silvetti, but he has been a game changer. Also, so who would have thought that, right? I think that's pretty big too. So we'll talk about that as well.
Agreed. Those are all good points. Also, sorry, I grabbed my hat. You were wearing a hat. I'm like, I want to wear my hat, and then I had to answer the door, so I apologize. Yeah. But here's my thoughts. I agree with, honestly, you said a lot of the points I was going to say, so I'm going to just really quickly recap, which is that, one, I agree. Maxi Falcon, I agree with you that I think he's such a good defender for us, and he has been so good and so consistent over a long period of time, but his recent form has not been good, so it was right to see the substitution for Lujan. Same thing with Mura, wasn't showing what we were hoping for to start the season. Put in Ian Frey, who we know can do well and can handle it. We'll see how that kind of balances out and shows itself. No, Allen, homegrown, so important, has done such a great job. But Sergio Reguilon, as someone who's a Tottenham fan who has seen him play for a lot of years, quality much better. And you can see now that it seems much more balanced on the field, right? Because you can see the midfield and Messi going both ways. Bertarame and Suarez are finding spaces. Bertarame gets another goal. All those things working together to put a really good product on the field. Um, and so we'll see, we have one more game until the World Cup. There will be a break, but then there's the Leagues Cup, and there's going to be obviously, the run towards getting the best record, playoffs, hopefully another MLS Cup, all those things to come. So we'll see how it shakes out over time. And it'll be interesting. But the person who is most important to everyone, including us, or I'll speak for myself, including me, um, has been living up to it, and someone who's only weeks away from beginning his World Cup title defense, and that's Lionel Messi. Because as you wrote, and it's so true, this is Messi's league, and everyone else is just playing in it. 11 goal contributions in his last 4 matches. It's no doubt the way he's playing, scoring, assisting. The assist he had last night was disgusting. I mean, he went through like 5 players in the box. I mean, it's not even fair at this point. You know what I mean? Like he's supposed to be at the end of his career. And the way he's playing, no one wants to get near him. He's too good. And so yeah, it's a pleasure, un placer to watch him play. That's the truth, to play for our team. And we're gonna get to obviously the other stuff in a moment. But just on the field, like he's the GOAT. Is there anyone better? Like it's just really, really sick to see.
I mean, aging like fine wine, right? I mean, it's just incredible what he continues to do day in and day out, and he continues to get better. And it just also begs the question, like, is it in part also because of the World Cup? Is he just trying to do his best right now before the World Cup to stay in shape? Is he as you said, putting in all these extra practice
Like a man
sessions? I mean,
possessed. Yeah.
he's looking faster, he's looking quicker, he's looking more intense and in the zone. And look, you said it, like 11 goal contributions in his last 4 matches is just insane. It's honestly like insane. I'm looking at he has let's see, 6 assists and 6 goals. No, wait, no, is it? No, I count. My math is off. 2, 4. Let's say 2, 4. It's so many of them that that I actually need to pull out the calculator here. That's how good he's doing. He's got, in his last 4 matches, he's got 6 assists and 5 goals. 6
And
assists and
it's
5
no
goals
doubt when the
in 4
kickoff happens
games.
each match, you're like, he's gonna score or assist. Like it's not even a question at this point.
No, it's insane. It's insane. He's at the top of his game, and this team needs that. I think that it's not enough for him just to be good. He has to be excellent for this team to win. And
I
that
agree
can be
with you.
seen as a good thing. It could be seen as a bad thing, however you want to take it. But this team, as every team that basically, he's played for in his career, has relied on him heavily. And this team continues to do so. And I'll tell you one thing. We'll talk about him, let's see, in the next segment, but I may get a little ahead of myself here. One of the reasons why Messi has done
Yeah.
so well in this last 4 matches is he's got a friend of his that's unlocking his fullest potential, and that's Luis Suarez.
Peanut butter and jelly, or
It's just incredible. Like it's not just like Luis Suarez can create a magical moment out of nothing. We've seen that, where he's got the ball at his feet and out of nowhere he creates the space and does what he needs to score off the volley, whatever you need to. But when you put him next to Messi, that gives Messi another outlet to be able to make passes, to find a player that can combine and associate himself with him. We see that even in that first goal.
you said it.
Like he passes the ball to Suarez before Suarez gives it back, and then Messi gives it to a wide open Berterame. Like Suarez is always in the right place at the right time, and Messi's benefiting from that wholly and incredibly. And I think that if this continues, then Suarez may be seeing a lot more minutes after World Cup, because why
Yeah.
change something that's working? And look, you've got Rodrigo De Paul who's now helping on that right hand side with Messi. We've seen that, like that combination. We talked about it last episode, where you would see a lot of that association with Jordi Alba on the
Beautiful goal
left
in
side.
Cincinnati. Yeah.
Yeah, now on the right side, it's with De Paul, and now he's got Suárez on the left. So he's literally surrounded with Suárez on the left, De Paul on the right, and that's just going to further increase Leo Messi's potential, increase his performances, and give him two guys that know him so well that he can. That, I mean, people were complaining about no assists, right? Like what was it, a month ago? And now
Yeah.
he's got 6 in his last 4 games. It's not for no
Like, don't
reason.
ask me
Yes,
for a good
Messi is
time.
great,
Yeah.
but every player needs to associate with somebody. And when you got his 2 best buddies right there, it just unlocks Messi's fullest potential. And he's on his way to a second MLS MVP.
Third.
Third
Yeah.
MLS MVP, and on his way to, I mean, for as much as this team has gone through different coaches and players and all that, we can see another supporter shield and another MLS Cup if Messi continues down this route. It's just incredible to watch this.
Agreed. I agree. And I mean, another thing, obviously, we said it, is getting into that World Cup form. Only weeks away. Weeks away. All the rosters are being announced. It was just announced today that Neymar was put on the roster for Brazil, which makes me happy, by the way, because I know this is a Neymar podcast. But in the World Cup, I want to see the greatest hits. I want to see the best, the players who bring the most excitement. And so give it to me. You know what I mean? Like that's what I want to see. But anyway, yeah, look to your point. Messi has been incredible. And you have to say, we talked about it in the beginning of the season that uh we didn't know what Luis Suarez's role was going to be. Initially he didn't even play in a couple games, and then he was coming off of the bench role. But I would say when we saw it, I was like, wow, he's not playing like someone who needs to be on the bench. He's playing. He seems to have a lot of energy. He's not getting tired or slowing down. He's being super dynamic. Some things that we weren't even seeing last season, we're seeing again now. And I mean, when Suarez is at his greatest form, we weren't sure if he was going to be able to play alongside Bertarame. I think they are playing well together, and I think the dynamic they're showing with Segovia, with Messi, etc., with De Paul is being great for creation. And with him starting, we're seeing all these goals, all this strong offense, attacking chances, etc. And it's great to see. I mean, Silvetti, when he's available, I think you'll probably see Segovia and Silvetti maybe taking turns or being rotated. We'll see. But yeah, it's
Or as a
I
start, if not as a starter, Silvetti will probably take Suarez's spot when
right
Suarez
off the
needs to rest
bench.
the game or off the bench. Yeah, 100%. And I wanted to say one more thing about Messi. Messi had that free kick. That
Oh
was
my god, I can't believe that didn't go
an
in the net.
incredible free kick, incredible. And James Pandemis from Canada, I don't know if I butchered his last name,
Yeah.
but I have seen that type of free kick go in 10 out of 10 times in
No, it was
football.
like a
Like
2% likely save.
and I have, anytime I've seen that well of a perfectly placed free kick, I always make the comment to whoever I'm watching with, not even the best keeper in the world would have stopped that. That's not on the keeper. That if you place the ball there, nobody's gonna stop it. And James Pantemis actually stopped that. It's just insane. I was like, what a party pooper, man. Are you serious? Like
I
right
know
now?
that would have been
Not be such
so
a try
sick
hard.
to
That
finish
was
the game off. I
insane.
know.
Yeah. Yeah.
No,
So I
I
just
mean,
wanted to say that.
yeah, I mean, kudos to him, but it was one of Messi's best free kicks, and there's no planet that gets saved on. And so credit to this guy. He gets a good save, even though obviously it didn't show up in the win column, but it was important. It was overall still a great game. El Pistolero, Bertarame, etc., all doing a really great job, and in the end getting the important first win and new stadium. And so before I'm gonna transition to this, because we're gonna talk about, we've already started kind of talking about the Bright, Segovia, De Paul, how they all played really well. Someone I want to bring up who it was not on the field but was very important is Phil Neville, right? This was Phil Neville's first game back since taking over the Portland job, I think, or playing where Messi was available. And obviously, for Inter Miami fans like us who were there before Messi, and before all this happened, Phil Neville was our coach, and he had a tough roster that was trying to do everything they could to make room for Messi. And he was the coach who had to kind of be the face of a team that was not necessarily tanking, but not set up for winning. They were setting up for preparing for Messi. And I always liked Phil Neville. I enjoyed his personality. I thought he was a great coach and voice when this team was starting to grow and getting that fan base. I thought he was very communicative, etc. And it was just nice to see him. I wish him all the best. I'm glad he's doing well in Portland. I'm happy we got the win. But that brings some tension too. I mean, look, Ian Frey, Yannick Bright, they or not Yannick Bright actually, just Ian Frey, Noah Allen, etc. Think about it. They were really just teenagers with Phil Neville, and he did a great job of mentoring them and having different players like Gonzalo Higuain, Pizarro, etc., right? To have on this team. And so yeah, I just want to give him a quick shout out. It was nice seeing him again.
Yeah, I think that he deserves his flowers. He was a guy that was put in here, and did the job he did, and I think you can credit him for bringing in some of those homegrowns that you see now, right? Like
Yeah.
he maybe didn't win anything, but he certainly had a part in what we're currently seeing right now with some of these guys. To talk about just as an example, but in another league like Xavi in Barcelona, right? He went in there and he's credited with bringing out some of the young guys like Lamine Yamal, Kouassi, some of these young players, and they left their imprint on the team. So anytime you can bring in those types of guys and have them back here at home, well, obviously New Stadium wasn't here when he was around, but I think this is kind of must be bittersweet for him, right?
Yeah.
To be able to come back here and see what he was a part of building,
And he
and
was
to
he
see it
was
all
very
come to
important.
fruition. He was important, and for him too, like he even said it, he knew that if Messi was going to come here to Miami, he wasn't going to be around for it. Like he was prepared and ready for it, and it didn't catch him by surprise. He knew that if Messi came here, he was going to bring his people, and he was okay with it. Like he was fine with it because he had already felt like he accomplished what he needed to do, and he left his imprint on the team. So.
Yeah. 100%, I agree. And of course, in the end, with Messi and everything, it worked out to our advantage. But yeah, I did enjoy him, and seeing him do interviews earlier this week with the Miami press and the the what is it, like the kind of camaraderie they had. It was nice to see. So anyway, yeah. We'll moving on to the other subjects, the supporting cast. We kind of talked about it earlier. A few players outside of Messi and Suarez who had very good games. Rodrigo De Paul. First of all, I want to talk about this assist he had in Cincinnati, that midweek game. The fact that Inter Miami won that game when there was 8 or 9 goals scored in such a hostile environment was crazy. And I just thought that I remember the link up of De Paul and Messi and Suarez and that gorgeous goal that they scored. Rodrigo De Paul has been playing not similarly to Messi in terms of as good as Messi, but both players who are going to be on the Argentina roster. I don't think De Paul is going to be starting. I don't think he expects it to, but they are both getting themselves ready to defend a World Cup, right? And they just won Copa America, then they won the World Cup, then they won Copa America again. Argentina is a team with a lot of targets on their back, and I think he has also stepped up his game preparing for this tournament. And we're seeing it on the field. He both from his emotions that he always shows, and his engine just being everywhere and making really good technical plays. He's stepped up.
Look, De Paul has been through a lot of ups and downs here at Inter Miami. He came in with a hefty price tag after the loan, and with a high expectation on him. At times, it looked like he was living up to it. Then, not so much. Did really well in the playoffs, and then the final. Then comes back
MLS
over
Cup
the
winning goal,
season.
yeah.
Comes back in this season, and he's had some moments of brilliance, but he's also had some moments at quite the opposite. And for me, like this game against Portland, I think it was one of his better games. He did well, and one of the things that he's brought, especially this season more than ever, is and especially when he's able to play higher up, is really, as I was saying earlier, being able to associate himself with Messi and unlocking Messi a bit more and helping him out with an outlet to pass, and he's been spectacular with that. Also, now him showing us that ability to be able to shoot from outside the box and add another dynamic to Inter Miami's attack. We've seen some golazos,
Yeah.
and he's scored a couple of them, and he shot a few others that if it wasn't for an incredible save by a few of the keepers, he would have scored a couple of more. So on the attacking side, I think it's been phenomenal. I think the biggest issue that maybe some of us have had with his performances have been in the midfield. Him making careless passes when the team is trying to build out of their own side of the field and losing it, and then giving up a quick counter, I think he's shown that weakness. It hasn't been good. It's something that he needs to get better at. We've also seen where he doesn't get back into the right
I mean,
spaces, or
a
he
Vander
plays
goal, yeah.
lazy. He
Think
plays
about that.
very lazy. He's just, I mean,
Yeah.
it looked like the bullfighters where they have the red cape and they just go, ole, go ahead and pass. And he's done that a couple of times where it's just completely
Dos
lazy
toros, yeah.
defending. Yeah. And then at the end, people are pitching at the defense because when it's a one-on-one against, Lujan, or one-on-one against Mikael or Maxi Falcone, and he gets beat. Well, before that, there was a shitty defensive sequence by the midfield, and it's like a lot of times it was De Paul that was on the side of that. So I thought he did a lot better against
Yeah.
Portland, and making sure that he was playing better defense and getting himself into the right spot. So I really like that about him, and I think that if he can continue to build on this performance, especially on the defensive side, this team would be better for it, because we've seen that this team is not going to have any issues attacking or scoring
Yeah.
goals. I mean, again, you
Yeah.
talk about 11 goals in 3 games. The defense
Crazy.
has been the issue. 2 goals against Toronto, 3 against Cincinnati. Their first shutout in playing at home this season, and it looked great. And I think that De Paul can continue doing that. And then Yannick Bright to me is a mini Caicedo, Moises Caicedo. I'll say it forever and always, because that's my favorite player right now, Moises Caicedo.
He's so good,
And
yeah.
and Yannick Bright just continues to be that destroyer in the back, and he's playing excellent. And Segovia playing excellent as well up top, just helping support that attack, and also helping in the midfield as well. So I really loved what they did, and they're a big reason. Not Messi shined. Berterame continues to build on his goal scoring performances, but these 3 really helped. Definitely,
Yeah.
they may have been outshined, but they low key played a great game.
Yeah, I agree 100%. I wanna give a couple honorable mentions. I think Dane St. Clair, for example, had a very good game last night. He made some important saves. If he's playing well and if he's getting the saves, that's all that matters. Defensively, I thought Sergio Reguilon, like we said earlier, was really great. First time I would say getting full meaning, his full 90 out of him, was really great to see, and I think it helps tremendously. So a couple honorable mentions there. And in the end, it was a great win, and the first win at New Stadium, like we said, hopefully one of many. Um, but and it's been 30 minutes, so it's about time we get into the other subject, or maybe not, but I'll say there was some other things that happened outside, or that was not on the pitch, that presented some mixed opinions of last night's game and Inter Miami in general. So I'll tee it up for you, Gian, which is that obviously we learned yesterday and we saw in the game that the Inter Miami La Familia fans were staging a protest after, and we had seen it in the previous games at New Stadium, especially when we remained winless, that the players weren't going after to applaud the supporter section that you normally see with teams, and that we had expected to see, especially in this brand new stadium. I think the team was they were really disappointed that they couldn't get those wins, and so you were seeing some of that frustration pour over. But last night, the game's winding down. We see the protests, and then we see the songs and the noise kind of come back up. You see some strong reactions from Messi and De Paul, not necessarily thrilled with the actions and the reactions of the fans. But overall, it's had a lot of people talking today about not the result, but rather sort of the relationship Inter Miami has with its fans. And so, Gian, is someone who um, I think knows a lot of people and who has been a part of, I'm a part of La Familia too, no doubt. We all are. We're big Inter Miami fans. That's why we started this before Messi. But I think you're someone who's much more keyed in than I am. You know people there, you've participated, you've seen the effort, the time, the people, etc. What's your overall thoughts about just, how everything kind of went down leading up to it, the game itself, the protest itself, and then sort of the aftermath we've been seeing?
This is such a nuanced,
Mm,
um, complicated topic that has so many legs and things to talk about. So I feel like I could probably do a podcast an hour long about this. I'm going to start off with this.
yeah.
I'm going to start off with I've seen all of the social media coverage, the X coverage, and there's so much that's wrong that's being said.
Mm,
And clearly, a lot of people with no intimate knowledge of what's going on at the club, of what's going on with the supporters groups, have very big opinions about something they know nothing about. And what I also notice is there are people that don't understand the football culture. There are people that don't understand the passion that some live this sport with, the feeling they have. And it's something that because they don't understand, they're quick to criticize and they want to treat MLS like it's the NBA, like it's the NFL. They want it to be soulless. They want it to be cold. They don't want that passion that supporters groups bring. And look, maybe there's supporters groups up in Portland and up north that don't maybe have that Latin Hispanic flavor that comes from South America, or that European flavor that comes from from Italy and from Spain and England. Those
the
are
ultras.
supporters that
Mhm.
live the sport, they breathe the sport, they eat the sport differently than Americans do. And look, I don't think there's anything wrong with being a casual fan. You can be a casual fan. You can even have your season tickets and you come here and you just you go to the stadium to eat your hot dogs and spend time with your family, and you don't know what the difference between what an MLS season game is and a Leagues Cup season is. You have no idea what the Champions Cup is
Just going
about.
to enjoy Messi. Yeah.
You don't know what a supporter shield even is. You have no idea. You don't know when they play. You don't know. You just know your season ticket says this is the time and you show up. Maybe you don't have season tickets and you just go once a year, and there's nothing wrong with that. I think that that's cool. You get to enjoy, and all you see it is as a sport for entertainment. Now,
And
on
that's a
the
great
other
part of
hand,
American sports, by the way.
yeah,
The entertainment and going to things, that's great.
and on the other hand, you have people that live and breathe this sport. And I'm not a member of the supporters groups, but I know everything that's going on behind the supporters groups. I know stuff going on behind the organization that a lot of people don't know. And these supporters groups are people that are come from the supporters groups in Argentina, from Boca Juniors, Racing, Lanús, River. These are people that lived and breathed it over there before coming here to Miami, that they were entrenched in it. People from Chile, from Colo Colo in Chile. They have people from Ecuador, from La Liga, Independiente del Valle, Barcelona. These are people that lived and breathed it. They came here and they've become part of this supporters group, entrenching the culture of the South American supporters group in here that is completely different than what American people are used to. They live it differently, right? And these are people that sacrifice their time, their money. I mean, do we think that those tifos that everybody loves to take pictures of and they say they're so cool, do they think that
Siempre
the hinchadas,
contigo. Yep.
yeah, do they think the hinchadas puts in an Amazon order and it arrives perfectly packaged and they just no. I've seen pictures, I've been sent videos of these guys at 2, 3, 4 in the morning
Hours.
in a warehouse painting these things. They think I've seen the stupid notion around people that have no idea what the hell they're talking about on social media, saying that that these guys profit and make money off this team. They don't make a dime off of this team. All the money that they make goes back into the team. How do you think that you can go as a fan? You don't even have to be a part of the supporters group. Go to the supporters pre-party and get free meat, free choripanes, all that's money that they make themselves from their memberships and from the tickets that they sell. Yes, they get tickets cheaper, but the money and profit they make goes right back into the team so that they can make all the cool things and flags and everything that you guys love to take selfies with, right? That's where that goes to. So my point is that there's two types. There's casual and there's actual supporters. They may not understand each other. Neither is wrong, but we can't discredit the other and say, hey, because you're a casual fan and you don't give a shit about, people saying hi to you or whatever, that they're wrong. No, they live it differently. And it's a passion that this team needs. Inter Miami
Fans are
needs
the heart of teams.
Inter Miami needs them. And look, they may say the supporters are only here because of Messi. The supporters, the majority of them, the ones that I know, they were here from the Miami Fusion days. They were here before Messi, and they're going to be here after Messi. When Messi wasn't here and the stadium was half empty, who was always there filling out the supporter section? Vice City, Southern Legion, a few of the others. They were the ones there. And when Messi leaves and the ticket sales go down and nobody gets season tickets anymore, guess who's still going to be there? The supporters. That's why they're important. The team, and you can ask any player in any league, you can ask them, and they're going to tell you that the supporters mean so much to them. If not, the stadium is going to sound like a chess match, like a tennis match. Like, why do you think home field? Why do you think the term home field advantage is important in football? Why do you think it's because the grass? Because the grass is a certain way? No, it's because of el aliento, the support, the singing that goes on. That motivates the player. So I want to preface with that, right? Okay, so I've set the scene, right? This isn't a protest that came out of nowhere. It's not just a protest because the players didn't say hi. This is the culmination of quite a few events and things that have happened in the background that has led to this, right? Let me check something because okay, I just want to check because
yeah, go ahead.
No, I'm just checking because I know a few of these the top guys on the supporters are watching this and they text me. I just want to make sure I'm not saying anything I'm not supposed to say. So, yeah, and you guys and the supporters, I appreciate you guys listening to this. So I've seen a few reports by some people saying that this team gives the supporters everything, that they give them free, that they give them discounted tickets, that they give them access to events, that they give them, I don't know this. Look, they give them discounted tickets because they need them. Inter Miami needs the supporters. They're not doing the supporters a favor. They need them to be there. If you only knew how much this team begs the supporters to be there, it's funny how much they need this team. And on top of it, they sell them, and then they get the money and they again pour it back into the team. This team hasn't held up their side of the bargain with the supporters groups. People may think so, but they don't know what goes on in the back. And I'll give you.
In what sense?
I can't. In what sense? I can't give you all the details because there are things that aren't supposed to get out. But I'll give you probably ones that are the biggest glaring ones. Club World Cup. Did you see every team in the Club World Cup where that came from Argentina or came from Brazil and filled the stadiums and had their supporter sections?
Yeah.
Do you know that those teams actually worked with FIFA to make sure that they were able to get those sections closed off and those tickets for their supporters? Did you see that Inter Miami in the first game, they opened Club World Cup at Miami in their home city? Did they have a supporter section? No. You know why? Because the team didn't do their job. They weren't professional. They completely screwed up. And Inter Miami was not able to get their supporter section for their I mean, such a big event. It's such a screw up. It's insane. That's one of them. Season tickets. This team is milking Messi so bad, and put money ahead of everything before sporting, before the fans. They put money ahead of everything, that they were so worried about selling season tickets that they didn't take care of La Familia. They didn't take care of supporter section. These people, supporter section that used to bring in 500 or something people into the supporter section, didn't have the space that they needed to be all grouped together and bring everybody, because they were selling season tickets to randoms, to nobodies, and taking space away from the supporter section. Do you see how small the supporter section is at New
Yeah.
Stadium? I don't know if you noticed, but they
Yeah.
were more
I
worried
sat
about
next to him
selling
a couple
season
weeks
tickets.
ago.
Like, look, people may not know this, but Inter Miami gives a certain amount of tickets aside from the season ticket holders to the supporters groups, gives them the tickets so that they can sell to their other supporters that don't have the money for season. Not everybody can afford season tickets.
Yeah.
Maybe like 50 to 60% of the supporter section can't afford season tickets. I mean, it's a luxury. Like, people, I mean, come on.
Yeah.
So that's why they would give single ticket game tickets to the supporter section, so that they can, sell those. And then the people that can't go to all of them can buy one here or there. And then they decided to not do that and give all the tickets away to season ticket holders over to supporters. They screwed them, completely screwed them. There's that and a bunch of other shit that people don't know about. And they act like Inter Miami is all high and mighty and taking care of the supporters, where they're not. So little by little, those things start to accumulate with other things, again, that I can't mention. Those things start to accumulate. So what happens? Inter Miami says, we don't have the full support of the team, or as an organization, right? The front office. I don't even know if I'm supposed to name some of these people. I know the names of these people in the front office that are dealing with this, but they say we don't have the support like we should from this organization. At least we have the players, right? That's what we have. At least we have. That's who we show up for. We don't show up for Mas. We don't show up for Beckham. We don't show up for these front office guys. We show up for the team, for the players on the field. We spend hours doing everything. At least we have them and their respect. And then what happens? The team doesn't acknowledge the supporters groups. Whether win, lose, or tie, it is part of football culture, whether you want to accept or deny it. And whether you know it or not, because maybe you're a casual, the football team is to acknowledge the supporters section out of gratitude, win, lose, or tie. Now, there may be a game here that doesn't happen, or maybe it doesn't happen 2 games in a row, whatever the case may be. But it's something that should happen. And this team, after like 4 games in a row, does not say anything to this team. They say nothing. They don't go up to them. They lose against Orlando City in the most humiliating, ridiculous, poor performance in a long time. It was an embarrassment to this team. And even though they were losing in such an ugly fashion, the supporters group never stopped singing. They supported them 100%. And after that game, that team, the players, even if they were mad, whatever it is, we've seen this in other leagues. Teams that lose, they still go up. They didn't have the decency to go and say thank you, even though we put on a piss poor performance, even though we shit the bed, even though we sucked. You guys were still there for us. They went straight to the locker room, them and their leaders. And the only one that showed face, that had the cojones, the balls to go and say something, was Noah Allen, who walked up to the fans, apologized, said thank you for the support. He's the only one. And he's one of the youngest. What type of example is that? When it's the leaders of the team who should be showing face for him. What type of example is that to everybody else? And that was what did it for this team. That's it.
So explain the
That's what
chant.
did it.
Explain the chant, because there's that's the thing that's important context, and we're seeing a lot of messages about it though. Natalia is saying choosing to chant jugadores is a low blow though, and some people are, getting the
Okay,
back and
and
forth.
that's also a, a, a story that isn't that people don't fully know. I'm going to give you a little bit of background there too. So, number one, I'm going to start with this. The team knew, they were informed that the supporters group was not going to was going to do this protest, and they were not going to show up with any instruments, and they were not going to sing. They knew this, right? You would think that if the team knew this, they would give their fans not their fans, the players a heads up, right? Hey, Messi, De Paul, just so you know, this is what's going on. Suárez, this is what's going on. You would think that they would say something. They said nothing. They said nothing. But they probably thought, you know what, this is beneath Messi, beneath De Paul. Oh, they're all stars, or they're the best. They didn't say anything. Now, the plan originally did not have that song in it. That was not the plan. The plan was just a silent protest. Somewhere along the line, still don't know who did it, who came up with it, whose idea it was. Somewhere along the line, the idea of changing that song Jugadores, and the original version of Jugadores is Jugadores la concha su madre, a ver si ponen huevos que no juegan con nadie. That's players, your mothers, you know what? Let's see if you guys put balls because you're not playing with anybody. And we know that that song is usually used in the worst of times when the team sucks, the team is playing with no heart, they're playing the worst, and they're gonna get bitched at by the team. That's when that song is usually used, right? But that wasn't in the original plan. They weren't supposed to do that. That song and the version in which they said it, and I'll tell you what the version that they actually sang. They put jugadores respeten a su hinchada, saluden a su gente que no les pida nada. The version or the supporters group said is players respect your supporters group, say hi to your people. We don't ask for much. But the first time that song actually came up was in La Previa, where they get together before the game and they start to party and everything. That's when a video came up that they were singing that. But that wasn't in the original plan. I don't know who came up with that.
Mm.
So 85 minutes goes on. They start to sing that song. And here's what I think. And I was talking to some of the leaders of the supporters group, and I gave them my opinion. I'm in 100% agreement with them that the protest should have happened. I think that the players and the team haven't acted accordingly. Maybe the best option was not that song. Again, it wasn't part of the plan, whoever came up with it, but it wasn't the best option. And if you're in the middle of a game and you hear that song that you know so well as an Argentinian, you probably take it the wrong way.
Yeah.
And I think that maybe I'm going to go with maybe Messi didn't hear the full lyrics of it and thought it was the original one and took offense to it, which is why he went like this. Like, what the hell are you guys doing? What are you talking about? Especially being up 2-0. I can understand that. But the reaction later on, I don't think was a good one, where Messi doesn't go to say hi to the hinchada. He tells his players to come on, let's go to the locker room. Don't even go there. I don't like what De Paul did, pointing to the star and saying, we got you all this. He didn't even point to the crest. You can tell he doesn't give a crap about the team. He just cares about, himself. So he was pointing to the star saying, we did this for you. I don't like that response, but I will say that I think more than anything, they probably didn't hear the actual song and they heard what they thought was the full-on Jugadores thing, and they probably reacted in a way where they're like, dude, what are you guys doing? Because that's mad disrespectful. So all in all, what I just think is it was just a bad situation. It was a bad situation. I don't think anybody likes that this happened, and it's actually turned into something a lot worse than what it should have been. And I'll tell you one last thing. If the team actually communicated with their players, again, them knowing that this protest was going to happen, I think Messi would have understood and known what was actually happened. He would have known that the lyrics were not meant anything more than to say, hey, we need you guys to appreciate us more. I think Messi didn't even know that. And I think that the team didn't share that with him. And that's part on the team. So what happens now? They're going to meet this week. The team is going to meet with a few game officials, possibly the coach. I can't say who else. And they're going to have to iron it out. But there's been a rift. There's been a rift. and some within, not all of the supporters, but some of them have a lot of beef, especially with De Paul right now. I'll say there's a big
Yeah.
rift, and if this and the right thing should be amends need to be made next game, and you're gonna want to see De Paul, you're gonna want to see Messi go and applaud. I'm not saying that they gotta go shake hands and they gotta hug them, but they need to applaud because they both need each other. The supporters need the players, and the players need the supporters. It's mutual. They both need each other, and if this team is gonna succeed, I think everybody needs to be in a good spot. But it is not a good scenario, you know.
Mm, yeah. Well, I think that was really great in-depth explanation, and I think to your point, it's a delicate and tough situation to see, especially with the World Cup in a few weeks, because Messi and De Paul are obviously going to be leaving for the World Cup, and the team and the MLS is going to be paused, and it could take a while before there's more communication and more consistency, and so it's ill timed. I think some people are making the comment like this, which is that like with how great Messi is, think they still owe us more. I think it's less that and more just that like the relationship between fans and the team and the community is supposed to be strong. And look, I
No,
think I think when
no matter
Messi
how
embraced,
big you are,
yeah,
respect is always to be given. It doesn't matter. Look, I'm a Messi fan. Have been following his entire career, right? Since
yeah,
Barcelona. I have his shirts. I'll always root for Messi. De Paul is a bit of a different story, but Messi always been his fan. But this is a sentiment that I think a lot of people, especially in the supporters group, share. And I share it across all my sports, not even football. With Miami Heat days, even with LeBron and Wade and Bosch, and I wish I could say something about the Dolphins, but there's not much to say there.
mm,
But it's a sentiment I share across the board, and it's this: no player is bigger than the team. Players come and go, but the team will always remain. And that for me, it's always been like that. I always follow the team. And if you play on my team, I'm a fan of yours. But I'm not one of these people that glaze on players and I change a jersey if they play somewhere else. Like, and at the end of the day, Messi falls within that category. Like, Messi is the best to ever do it. Love him. He's great,
he's
but he's
brought a
not
lot to
bigger.
Inter Miami,
He's,
yeah.
he's not bigger than the club. He will leave and he will go to the front office and he will stop playing for this team. And same thing for De Paul and the same thing for Suárez. But I'm just not going to glaze on these guys as much as I enjoy watching them play. But it's the club first, Inter Miami. And if you're a casual, you're not going to understand that, and I can't blame you that you don't live it that way. But for these guys that are supporters, they live it that way. And respect is always has to be given, no matter how many MLS cups you bring, no matter how many supporter shields. You have to be thankful to the supporters group, and that is how it is. It doesn't matter. There's nothing else.
Yeah. Well, so hopefully, like we said, we have a game next week, and we can see there's going to be talks this week with the team. Hopefully, we can move past it and enjoy the fruits of everyone's labor, right? Because we know, especially on the field, Messi has been everything we've asked for and more over right on the field, and so that's been great to see. It's about improving and creating that connection with the fans and with the support that you really want to see. This is good context though. Not that big of a deal. In the 70s and 80s, they brought guns to scare the players and urge them to win. Yeah, well, we're not in that situation, thankfully. It's a little bit better than that. Um, it's
It's
I think
about I don't understand. I really don't, guys. Like, I don't understand the disconnect here. Like, what doesn't connect for you guys? It's simply saying, it's a very simple message. It's, we don't ask for much. We're not asking you guys to come sign jerseys for us. We're not asking you guys to take pictures with our kids. We're not asking you guys to attend meet and greets with us. All we're asking is for you to acknowledge everything we do for you guys. The same way that we support you and we celebrate because you win those titles for us, we want you to acknowledge us. Just look in our direction and freaking clap after the game and say you acknowledge all the work that we put in, to create the environment that helps you. And you guys think it doesn't, like, you genuinely don't think the supporters have anything to do with them winning? They do. Every team needs a supporters group. Like, I just don't understand the disconnect with you guys. I really, really don't. Like, it's not a difficult concept. Now, if you want to talk about it wasn't the best song to sing, okay, like, I'm not gonna debate you. I mean, I said I don't think it was the best thing. I even shared it with some of these guys on supporters. I was like, maybe you guys should have chosen a different song, because whether they heard or didn't hear the lyrics, any of them is going to recognize the tune and the jugadores part, and they're going to assume, so maybe that was wrong, or maybe it wasn't the best. Again, it wasn't part of the plan. It was supposed to be a silent protest. And then somewhere along the line, someone decided right before the game to start singing that and made that up, and they did it. Shouldn't have been done. I agree with you. But there's some disconnect with some of you guys that you don't understand why the team is like as a supporter, why they're pissed. Like, I think it's very clear. Dude, just acknowledge us. That's it. Clap. Like, we're doing a bunch of shit for you guys. Come on. Like,
Yeah.
I don't get it.
No, I think, well, fans, everyone,
The
I
onus
think
is on the
wants
club. Sorry, and the onus is on the club. The onus is on the club. I mean, again, there's so much that goes on in the background with the club, and so much, there, so many things that they've not done that leads to this. This isn't just the players thing. This is a series of events and poor management by the club, and then culminated with players that don't that feeling unappreciated by the players. All of that culminates to this moment in time that could have been prevented if the club would have done a good job. And look, even Berterame in this, Ash, I don't know if you saw it, even in the post game, Berterame said the fans are right. He sided with the fans.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to say who, but someone in the front office also has sided with the fans. It's not public. I can't say it. But whether you guys want to believe it or not, the team knows they screwed up. And why do you think they're having meetings this week? They know that they screwed up. Sorry, I won't interrupt you, Ganesh. Sorry, go ahead.
No, that's okay. No, it's okay. Look, I mean, I think, like I said, it's valid criticism, I think, for fans to want to feel appreciated and important. The team has given us a lot, but we give a lot to the team, and especially the supporters more than others, the time, the energy, all of those things. It makes a big deal and makes a big difference. And I think, like we said, the front office is obviously, you say wanting to get that to why not sign to ownership, etc. I think it's difficult to get to the front office and ownership more than maybe people realize. And obviously the first layer of defense for the club is the players that are on the field. And so it's part of, the price that comes with being, we've seen it across a lot of sports, being a professional athlete and being a representation of the team. What you put out is what you get. And all I can say is that hopefully we see the resolution and we see the improvement, because we have a beautiful team, a beautiful stadium, and a beautiful community, and you want it all just to come together. So, that's what we're just hoping and moving toward, and hopefully this meeting will be positive and good, and we can move back to that good feeling.
Yeah, I think that's in the best interest of everybody. Right now, the players are pissed. Right now, the supporters section is pissed. As I said before, they both need each other for this team to be successful. They both need each other to have the group a great environment at new stadium, for the fans that aren't part of the supporters groups to have fun and enjoy, and hopefully in this meeting something good comes out of it. And again, it's an unfortunate situation that it had to get to this point, but I feel like the team will be better for it.
Yeah, hopefully you
Once
just
they
move
once they
forward,
get out of
right?
it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Agreed. Well, I think, we've said all we could. I think you explained it really well, and you gave a lot of context. I think some people will get it on that level, some won't. Again, they hopefully the team handles it better, meaning like the front office and the team. Hopefully the players get the understanding, and hopefully, the support is brought back on, and we'll move from there. And as always, thank you everyone for watching. Thank you for all the incredible comments and the discussion, and look, people having really strong feelings and things to say. That's part of being a fan, and that's the best thing, right? Even we could all agree to disagree. It's a great way of putting it. People can have their opinions. For sure, Inter Miami could have handled the fans could have handled it better. Inter Miami could have handled it better. Everyone, emotions run high. The feelings grow. I will say this is not happening. Messi's not going to leave after the World Cup. Messi's not going anywhere for a little while. That
He's not going in. There's nowhere that he
yeah.
would go. He's not going back to Barca. He's not go. He doesn't want to play in Argentina,
No,
and
he's created a great home and thing here.
he wouldn't play with another European team, and he's not playing with another MLS team. This is his team, quite literally his team. He's got an ownership, stake in it. So, I think they'll be fine. I'm not.
Yeah, I think this
I'm
is
not worried
part
about
of
this team.
part of what happens, the emotions, the tolls, the ups and downs of sports. We got to win on the field. Hopefully, we get a win with the supporters coming soon. We'll have to wait and see. Giving positive vibes and hopefully understanding across the board. But again, everyone, thank you so much for watching and tuning in. We had a lot of people tuned in. I think it was a great discussion. It was great information being shared. We saw a great Inter Miami win at New Stadium, hopefully first of many. And we'll see how everything unfolds. So as always, make sure you are following us on X at Messi & Co. Subscribed on YouTube at 5 Reasons Football. We will continue, and especially Gian, who luckily has the know and has the intel, we will continue providing updates, seeing how things unfold. So make sure you're following and subscribing, and we'll see what happens. So thank you again for listening and for watching. It was a pleasure. And yeah, so for this episode of Messi & Co., I'm Ashley. That is Gian, and we will see you next time.
You guys rock.